The rightward shift in Europe, an examination of the changing political landscape and the immigration crisis. As Europe approaches a critical juncture with the European Parliament elections, the continent is experiencing a significant political transformation. Approximately 400 million Europeans are set to elect 720 European Union parliamentarians, and polls are indicating substantial gains for right-wing populist parties. For the first time since the European Parliament's first direct elections in 1979, a solid right-wing majority is anticipated, signaling a sharp turn towards conservatism and nationalism. French President Emmanuel Macron dissolved his country's parliament and called snap elections later this month, after a European Union exit poll projected a big victory for his rival Marine Le Pen's national rally in the European Parliament vote. Exit polls showed gains for far-right parties in Germany and Austria as 3 days of voting wrapped on Sunday across the European Union's 27 member states. The rise of right-wing populism in Europe. Right-wing populism has been a growing force in European politics for several decades. Traditionally, Europe's politics have been dominated by centrist parties, both on the left and the right, with a focus on integration, cooperation, and progressive policies. However, the financial crisis of 2008, subsequent economic austerity measures, and the influx of refugees from the conflict zones have fundamentally altered the political landscape. The political right in Europe has gained momentum by capitalizing on widespread dissatisfaction with the status quo. Parties such as Italy's Lega Nord, France's National Rally, Germany's Alternative for Germany, and Spain's Vox have seen significant increases in the support. These parties share common themes, that is, strong nationalist sentiments, skepticism towards European Union, and stringent immigration policies. In the 2024 elections, these right-wing populist parties are expected to make substantial gains, reflecting a broader trend across the continent. This shift is driven by a combination of factors, including economic concerns, cultural anxieties, and a backlash against perceived elite indifference. The immigration crisis and its impact. Europe has faced an unprecedented wave of immigration over the past decade. The Syrian civil war, conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq, and economic instability in parts of Africa have contributed a surge in refugees seeking asylum in Europe. According to the United Nations, over 1 million refugees and migrants entered Europe in 2015 alone, with numbers fluctuating in the subsequent years, but remaining significant. The influx of refugees has placed considerable strain on Europe's economic and social systems. Many countries, particularly those in southern and eastern Europe, have struggled to accommodate the sudden increase in population. Issues such as housing shortages, unemployment, and pressure on public services have been exacerbated by the arrival of large number of migrants. The issue of security has also played a crucial role in shaping public opinion on immigration. High-profile terrorist attacks in Paris, Brussels, Berlin, and other European cities have heightened fears about the link between immigration and terrorism. Although the vast majority of migrants are peaceful individuals seeking safety and better opportunities, the action of a few have had a profound impact on the public perception and policy. The backlash against immigration policies. Initially, many European countries adopted welcoming stance towards refugees. Germany, under Chancellor Angela Merkel, famously opened its doors to hundreds of thousands of migrants in 2015. This humanitarian approach was driven by a combination of ethical consideration, international obligations, and, in some cases, economic factors such as labor shortages. Democratic legitimacy. There is also a growing sentiment that the European Union suffers from a democratic deficit. Critics argue that EU's decision-making processes are opaque and unaccountable, and that ordinary citizens have little say in the policies that directly affect their lives. The immigration crisis has exacerbated these concerns, as many feel that their voices are not being heard by the political elite. Identity and values. The immigration debate touches on deeper issues of identity and values. For many Europeans, the rapid demographic changes brought about by immigration are seen as a challenge to the traditional values and cultural norms that define their societies. This has led to a resurgence of nationalist sentiment and a rejection of multiculturalism. Conclusion. The European Parliament elections represent a critical turning point for Europe. The expected gains for right-wing populist parties reflect a broader trend of disillusionment with traditional politics and growing opposition to current immigration policies. The rightward shift is driven by a complex interplay of economic, social, and cultural factors and poses an existential challenge to the European project. To navigate this crisis, European leaders will need to address the legitimate concerns of their citizens while upholding their humanitarian responsibilities. This will require comprehensive reforms to immigration policies, efforts to promote economic stability and social cohesion, and a commitment to democratic principles. Only by addressing the root causes of public discontent can Europe hope to build a more inclusive, stable, and prosperous future. This was it for today. For more such news, stay tuned to Uday India.